got some
Somebody
shit.
bought it.
Collectors.
I'm not even gonna bother. Since everybody's here.
Everyone's here. I don't think.
My son's coming home.
Hadn't happened in a
My
while.
son's coming home last weekend. I couldn't get
No, that's fine. No, I'm okay with it. I was running late. Otherwise, I would already had it on and up. I like it as an option. I was running late and I didn't even think about it because I'm so used to not getting it. And I'm coming downstairs, I'm like, oh man, I didn't start that. If it's somebody's digital, they're all, where is it?
Come on. Well, he's got a computer that he bought used from IU.
Yeah.
The auction. It's got 212 gigabyte of memory.
Tad bit different from the first 512 megabyte computer you had.
Huh?
Come
The
on.
first computer I had 64K.
54K, yeah.
And that was a hot computer,
It was a hot computer.
about
Probably
1983 or
paid more for that than you
Before
do
that,
now
it
the
was
new ones.
Commodore
Oh, yeah.
64.
It's crazy.
I had no idea they even had computers in the 30s. You know, I love
Go ahead, just kick it.
Did you have the original crank?
it. Yes.
George can get his historical dates wrong. He's one of the poorest students I ever had in class. Right,
He was
George?
my favorite. He was my favorite teacher.
Kids come and visit and go, he was my favorite teacher. Thanks,
I
George.
can't even get mine to come up. I don't know what happened. Is this thing on?
Turn it on.
That's what happened.
Hang on a minute. Where are you plugging this in again? See if that helps.
Wow.
Battery was completely dead.
You say the pledge? No, the stone pledge.
Yeah, we can, it's 4. It's 4, so we can start whenever.
As soon as I get my computer. Yeah, I know, Rick,
We're having some technical difficulties.
come on. Right.
At least
Yeah.
it's not raining.
Oh, my God.
You got it written.
Do we have enough rain?
Can you share?
Young Frankenstein? Did you watch that this weekend at all?
I didn't, but I've watched it.
Oh my
many
gosh, I love that movie.
I
It's
don't
so
know why.
funny, and they picking the coffin up, and you know, this is a terrible, filthy, rotten job. Well, it could be worse. What do you mean? It could be raining. And it starts pouring down rain.
Well, let's go ahead and start. Can't get this going shortly here.
Can, I can feed you the sheet that we go.
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. Welcome guests. Welcome all members. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, as is our tradition. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, first thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from the last meeting.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Mr. Clemmons seconds. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, next thing on the agenda is new business. And the first thing is temporary easement. Whoop,
Approval.
sorry. Approval of claim, sorry.
Jeremy, you want to give us the,
Yes, we have a few of them. We have $250 from Huntington National Bank. This is for ongoing bond cost. Plu Shadley, $229.50 is for Warsaw Chemical work that we're doing. City of Warsaw wastewater is just our bill for the Indiana American Water Property, $114.23 utility bill. Barnes and Thornburg, $67.50 is ongoing legal services. I think this was associated with the Buffalo Street project. Robinson Construction, $310.10. I think it was late last year, we did a PO for a share of the airport coming out of Northern Tiff, a share of the new airport hangar door, the city-owned airport hangar. So that's what that is for. And then Selge Construction, $15,300 is for the Buffalo Street Plaza. As part of that contract.
I noticed on the claim form, the Robinson bill, get to it here in a second, had, it listed Zimmer Biomed hangar door.
Yes, it's actually, well, it's listed as that, but the city actually owns that hangar, it's not Zimmer and Biomed. We lease it to Zimmer and Biomed, but the city owns that
Okay,
hangar.
I just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
that.
And the other claim that I needed to add that's not on there is just our yearly $600,000 for the wastewater TIF bond. That's pledged every year to the TIF bonds, TIF sewage bond.
For the northern tip.
Yeah, it's the northern TIF.
Okay. Any questions about the claims as they were presented?
I have just a couple of rudimentary questions on the airport hangar door. Is that job completed?
Yes, I believe it is now
Okay.
completed.
So with this payment of $130,000, what does that leave the balance at? Shouldn't end the sentence with a preposition, but
What balance?
what balance is
So
left?
the original contract was $644,000.
I've seen two balances left, but I assume the smaller of the two is possibly remaining?
Yeah, so there is a balance remaining, but we only pledged a certain amount of money to the project.
644?
So the total project was $644,000. Balance to finish, based on this pay application that I'm looking at, is,
It'd be one on number 6.
311,958.
yeah, $311. But I believe, I'm trying to remember how much we pledged. We only have $17,000 left that we are going to pay. So there's other funds that are funding this project. We were just a portion of it.
Okay.
So we have, I think, 17,000, roughly around 17,000 left that we agreed to pay for.
Okay.
So other departments will be picking up the balance.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good question. Anybody
So
else?
if we have a balance of 17,000 and the job is finished, have they just not invoiced us?
They just haven't invoiced, yeah.
Okay, but we know it's coming.
Or they may have invoiced some of the other funds, but they haven't sent an invoice to us for the balance remaining from us.
Okay.
This was like the third or fourth pay application. So they're paying for the project out of other funds, just not.
I understand. Yeah. I just wanted to know where this group was.
Yeah, this was the first pay application we've seen from us. There's another one yet that'll come.
Okay.
It appears this is, these two, there's two repayments in here. One's August and one's September.
Yeah.
So we have not gotten the October one yet.
That's correct.
And that should be the last one, hopefully.
Okay. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll
Airplanes
entertain a
are
motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Rick, I heard Rick first,
Second.
and Mr. Gross second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries to approve the claims as presented. Okay, next item on the agenda is temporary easement, appears to be with NIPSCO.
Yeah, so NIPSCO sent me an easement agreement, a temporary easement agreement for the Gatkey property. Looks like they would like to use that for a staging area when they do the roundabout, construction of the roundabout at Winona Avenue and Argonne Road. So I put this on the agenda, but I've received an email today that may complicate that. So so first, want to hear your thoughts on it, and if you have any reservations, that's fine, but otherwise, what we may do is give me your input on whether or not you see this as an issue, as long as it doesn't conflict with anything we're doing, and then I would have to figure out with this other potential project on Gatkey, whether or not that conflicts. Does that make sense?
What about the housing project?
Which one?
Wasn't there gonna be a housing project?
That's at Arnold.
Arnold's, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just up the road.
Did Scott look at this agreement, just out of curiosity?
No.
Okay.
And I can also have him look at it. They just sent it to me so I put it in your packets to get your input. We can push it off a month if you want. Well, I don't know that they would probably want it pushed off a month, but they might go to a different site, but,
Did they send you Exhibit A? In other words,
Yeah.
do they want, like, most of the property, is it?
well, I think they just going off the address. They'll probably use, obviously, the grass area out front is what they want
Right,
to use.
yeah.
That they can lay any poles and, any equipment that would be sitting there.
So I may be a little confused. We were gonna look at this and discuss it, but then you said, but then I received an email today that may complicate the situation.
Well, as you know, we've been working on a potential development on Gatkey. And I do have a rudimentary proposal on Gatkey. And that proposal's time frame would potentially conflict with what they're requesting. Now, there's a lot, the proposal that was given to me, there's a lot that happens in a 3-month period that I'm not entirely sure is possible. But it's certainly something that's gonna come before you and we're gonna discuss, right? So it could be in conflict with this, if we were to approve this to extend to June of 2022. Assuming that we did successfully meet the timeline that was in this proposal, it would conflict with this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are we getting paid anything for this?
No.
Is this not similar to what we did with the old gas station that
Yes.
we took over?
Yes, very
And
similar.
they were,
They'll probably lay some poles on it, have their equipment parked on it.
yeah.
But in
And
that,
they were, excuse me, just a minute, they were very cooperative with us on that issue, on that
Never let her
property.
give horse in the
We-
mouth.
We never had any problems with the poles being out too far or block view of traffic or any equipment parked out too close to the road where you couldn't view traffic coming and going. They kept it all neat and tidy.
I guess,
I just want to remind everybody of that, but this is another problem.
okay,
Go ahead.
so what's the?
but we didn't have a possible project on that.
No, we did not. You're right.
This one we do,
We certainly do. We, potential.
potentially do.
Yeah.
And I personally would not wanna jeopardize.
I don't want to jeopardize that project either, so I guess what I'm requesting is if you don't see any issues, if it doesn't have a conflict, you can say, yes, you go and explore this and that project at the same time and see if it's compatible or not. If it's not, then I'm not going to approve it. Otherwise, we can push it off a month. It's up to you. I think it could probably occur, they could probably use that as a staging area, because I don't think personally that that project's gonna be under construction in 3 months or 4 months, right? That's probably a little unrealistic.
But NIPSCO wants it till
June.
July 1st of 2022, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have a timeline for this new?
Well, in the proposal,
Project?
I think they said, well, we'd start construction like, let's say, March and spring, right? When spring construction starts.
Well, there's a lot of land there.
I agree.
Can both things happen?
They could. That's why I'm saying I'd have to explore whether or not that would be. Or we could have a clause in here, or I could go back to NIPSCO and say, hey, put a clause in there that says, you know, if we give you 30 days to move your stuff off of it, you move your stuff off prior to the deadline being up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you have it in bullet number 2 that they have the ability to month by month.
Yes.
Well, why wouldn't it be the grant, why wouldn't you have us as well? On
Yeah.
a month by month basis, it'd be item 2.
And they may say that's not gonna work for us, and they can go find another site,
Right.
and that's fine. But in our situation, it may be, given what I know now, it may be, say, hey, we can't guarantee, we're okay if you're using it, you might get away with it for 3 months, you might get away with it for the whole term. Otherwise, we may tell you
It could be
30 days,
that.
30 days from now, you gotta be off the site.
Grantor in February can on month by month
Yeah.
throw them off, if
Yeah.
you think it isn't gonna happen till February.
And is it, do you know if the other proposal, potential proposal, would take up both sides of the road there? And could we restrict them to the east side of the road?
I think we probably could, and I'm just being a realistic, you know, the proposal that's in front of is requires us to come up with millions of dollars and other parties to come up with millions of dollars. I've been around long enough to know that that doesn't happen like that, right? So I'm probably inclined to say this would probably be all right.
Yeah.
But I don't want to mislead you and say, oh yeah, sign this, and then a month from now be like, hey, by the way, we got this all done. So I think I need to go back to them and say, hey, we'll probably be all right with this, but you need to have a clause in here that says, we give you notice 30 days, you gotta be off the site.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I do too. I think it should go in item 2.
Somebody like to put that in the form of a motion?
I move to approve with the said amendment, the grantor shall, at whatever time Jeremy says, it may be, Jeremy, you don't want to put it in play till like February, but we, at some point, can tell them you have 30 days to get off the property, realizing it may not even happen.
Yeah, and they may come back and say that's not acceptable, as we'll find a different site, and that's fine. But if they want to be on this site, I think given what you will see here shortly, at some point in time in the next month or two, you'll want that. And I would want that too. You know, if-
Surely NIPSCO would understand,
Yeah.
especially, some property that we've been trying to.
Yeah, and we're not
develop.
charging them anything for it, it's not like they're paying us, so.
But they've been a good neighbor to the city.
Yes.
No, and like the other contracts, we didn't charge them any money. Obviously, there's times when we have projects that we need them to move stuff for, and they know that, and so it's just kind of a mutual agreement that we would have.
Do you need a second?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve with adding an amendment to give them 30
We
days
reserve the
notice
right.
Yeah.
We reserve the right to give them 30 days notice to vacate the property.
Right.
Is that fair?
That's,
Okay.
that's it.
And we'll put that in the form of a motion. We have put in motion, we have first and seconded. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And with all that, I assume the city attorney will also
Yeah, I'll have them.
review the language in there
Yep,
with this stated paragraph added.
yep.
Okay. Anything else to come before progress reports on any committee
I
projects?
feel like we have a lot of things that might all start to converge in the next 3 to 4 months, so be prepared to be very busy.
Good.
which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of projects in the works. We'll see what materializes and what doesn't, but, a lot of good things, I think, coming shortly.
Yeah. And since we last met, the Sullivan Group closed on the marketplace property,
Yep.
correct?
Yep, Sullivan Wickley
Wickley.
does own the marketplace at Warsaw now.
And renovation has begun?
Yeah, I'm
I've seen
assuming they,
people-
I'll put it this way. They're probably, the work is probably more to prevent further damage
Yeah.
than it is renovation, because the former owner pretty much shut everything off. And when they shut everything off, then you know what happens with water pipes and sewage. It freezes and breaks and causes other damage. The utilities weren't on, there was leaks.
The
So,
roof,
so a lot of the work that they're doing
deteriorated.
now is to prevent further damage and get things back to functional.
Right. But to our knowledge, there's been no leases on the buildings or of any kind,
No announcements.
no announcements.
No,
Nothing
I think we're communicating with them. There'll be more communication that comes your way shortly. We're working through some of those details now. So we'll sit down, once we hit that point. That's one of the things that'll be before you probably in the next 2 months.
Okay.
So a lot of work to be done, a lot of work to go yet, but, they are in their due diligence phase in terms of preparing that property.
Cool.
So good things to come, I think. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
And since it's part of the TIF district, we may have to do some changes.
Yeah, it's part of the TIF district. We brought it in 2019, I think. Unfortunately, the property has continued to be devalued from that point in time. If you remember correctly, initially we brought it in because we were creating the riverfront district, and we wanted liquor licenses to be available to that.
For
so that-
George.
For potential
No.
restaurants that might want to locate in there. So we wanted to give them that added flexibility. Unfortunately, probably about the same time we were bringing it in, the company that owned it was dumping it, leaving it for dead. So about that same time as we were thinking about what could go in there, that company was walking away and no longer paying us bills. It just took us a year and a half, 2 years to realize that. But-
Yeah.
So there'll be some changes we'll have to make, but all of that's to come.
Just for the sake of our audience, we're talking about the shopping center where the Kmart used to be, where Pizza Hut is? No,
The shopping center
Where the-
where Carson's.
where the
Carson's
BMV
and
is.
Sears.
Okay,
Yeah, Elder Beerman,
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
a 1 hour photo. Sad.
Pier 1
That
used to
up
be.
for years.
That one,
Yeah, Pier 1, yeah.
Yeah, Pier 1.
all right. Anything else you'd like to add?
See, I thought it was the other one.
No,
So,
just be prepared, a lot to come.
belly up.
I know I keep telling you that, but there really is a lot out there. Keep telling you next month.
It'll all
next month.
happen at once.
That's what I'm saying.
Problem.
What it's shaping up to be is all of it's gonna bang, hit it all at once, and then we're gonna be,
May have to have some special meetings.
that's usually the way it works, right? You
Okay,
Yeah.
sit around and
So-
wait, and then.
just don't do it over Christmas break.
We do-
No, I think most of it will probably, we've kind of had this conversation, I think January through March will probably be pretty busy.
Okay.
So, we do appreciate your patience. Years.
Well, I think I keep telling some of you, it's coming, maybe next month, maybe next month, maybe next month, but maybe next month. Not December, hopefully.
The wheels do grind slowly.
Well, it just takes a while. I mean, they have to do all their due diligence, and then we have to do all of our due diligence, and, you know, it takes a while to get all your ducks in a row.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing else at this
Anything
time.
else that this group has to
How
come
about that
before?
building across the road?
Yeah.
They took off all that mansard part and they said, you know, it's,
There's
all of a sudden it was like,
windows.
whoa! I hate that all these windows have been.
Well, I'm
covered
sure
up.
it looks, I mean, when I was up there when the mansard was still on and it was just dark and dingy, I'm sure now it's all
Yes, it's-
light and airy and it's probably a great space.
I almost
What's it, what's it gonna be?
awkward maybe.
There'll be some apartments and then, the bottom floor will be commercial, whether it be a restaurant or, that's for him to
They think
figure
so,
out.
yeah.
Who's doing it?
Dave
What's
Gustafson.
that? Yeah, oh yeah.
Dave
It
Gustafson,
was scary at first.
and he has some, I think he has some partners, but he's the one that's primarily.
And that's the corner.
Getting all cleaned up now, yeah. It's taking shape, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Did you go in there before they cleaned it out?
I went in there before, when they were in the process of cleaning it out, and it was pretty bad. Like I said, I bet it's great now.
I
'cause
called it frightening.
Just natural light that's in there now with those windows is probably night and day compared to what it was.
I know, yeah.
Great improvement,
Yeah,
or will be.
should be. It would be nice to get that cleaned up.
Any other business come before this group?
Move to adjourn.
Mr. Gross moves to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are closed. By the way,
See you guys.
Mr. Clemens second.
Good to see you. Take care. See you, Jeremy. See you.
Thank you.
Meeting tonight, yeah, right? All right. Meeting tonight?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you,
Good to see
gentlemen of the
George.
press.